Hi everyone and welcome to Blackwood Engage Layout. So it's been a couple of months since I last posted an update. I have been working on the layout in those intervening 2 months. The area I've been working on is this section just along here. There is a new, well not a new road bridge, there's an extended road bridge which I'll talk about in a minute, and I've been working from that bridge back to the bridge which is behind the camera to where the existing scenery is completed up to. So without any further ado, let's go and have a look, and I'll take you around and I'll show you what I've been doing over the last couple of months. So as I said in my opening comments, the first job that I had to do was to extend this road bridge. So the road bridge obviously ended where the original side of the layout was. So the first thing that had to be done was this pier had to be replicated on this side. Similarly with the concrete plinth that the road sits on, again another concrete plinth on this side here. Very simple to do. All this here is 4 or 5 pieces of grey board glued together and then wrapped with Metcalf's stone builder sheets. So really simple to do. It's also had a little bit of weathering put on it, just to sort of dull it down, and as you can see there's the restricted access signs or limited clearance signs have been put onto the bridge as well. The actual extended bridge, if I bring that in, which I'll just sit it in roughly at the moment, very simple build for this bridge. If I just zoom out a bit so you can see the all of it. The road base is 2mm thick grey board. It's then been covered with 400 grit sandpaper, black sandpaper, which has then been given a couple of coats of Humbrol number 92. The road signage, that comes from scale model scenery, and the pavements are obviously just from Metcalf kits. So a really simple design. The bridge sides, they are 3D printed, and they came courtesy of one of my subscribers. That's Rachel, or is better known to some of you as the Angel of Crewe. So they were sprayed up with a blue colour of paint, and then the individual sections were then just picked out with a kind of rusty brown colour. In the middle you'll see there is a pier. Again, that pier, if I turn it round, it's designed to look as though it's been cut down, then it's had a concrete plinth put onto it. Again, that is very simply done with some grey board. If I bring in the bit of grey board, there is one of the bits I didn't use, and it's just been cut 4 or 5 times and then again wrapped with the Metcalf brick paper. And then the top area is still wrapped, so you get a smooth finish, and then it's been painted with precision paints, weathered concrete. At the end here again you've got another pier, simple pier with a plinth on the top, and it's got a couple of wing walls which again are from scale scenes kits. I had a couple of wing walls left over, and I obviously just repurposed them for this particular bridge. So underneath it's just been given a coat of concrete, but you're never really going to see the underneath part of the bridge. So a very simple but effective bridge to extend the road. It does look the part. If I then just slips back in, there we go, that's it. It looks the part. And it didn't really take me all that long to build that. That was actually the easiest bit of this whole section I worked on. It probably took me around about 2 weeks to actually make it. There's still still to be spray painted with some varnish just to seal it. That's the only thing that's really got to be done to it, and it probably needs some street furniture put onto it, but the main thing is the bridge is actually built, and it does look the part. So that was job number one. And job number two, which we'll now take a look at, is the extension of the overhead portals and cantilevers to support the catenary. So let's go and have a look and see what I've been doing in that. So the overhead portals, that was the next job that I had. So just to remind you, these are the overhead portals that I've already put in, running from the helix, which is behind me, along these outer helix lines and up to the road bridge. So obviously the next lot of portals run from the road bridge up to the extended road bridge that I was showing you a few moments ago. So the easiest portals to get in were actually the portals that go on the existing layout, the original layout. Between the bridge here and the station, as you can see, all the portals are now in. Most of them are cantilever portals. There is one full portal which is just there in camera. The rest are all cantilevers as you come round. Obviously each one has got a brass pin glued to the bottom of it, and the portal or the cantilever can be removed so I can clean the track. They are from N-Brass, and N-Brass have actually now extended their range. They didn't make the cantilever overheads, they only made the full portals. So I had kit bashed a couple of cantilevers for further back when I was doing the previous part of the layout, but you can now buy the actual cantilever kits from N-Brass, and if I come around, that's actually one of them right there. Now that's not totally finished, as you can see the A-frames haven't been sprayed, but that is the actual cantilever there. Coming to the main running lines, if you like, which are the helix lines, they have been a bit of a pain in the butt, to be quite honest with you, and it's to get the actual positioning of these 4-track portals. They're not all in. There are still 2 to go, and you'll see there's 2 markers on the baseboard where they're going to be going. I actually had these positioned in a number of parts of the layout to try and get them to look right. Initially I was going to put them actually where they've actually ended up, but I didn't think that looked right, simply because they were so close to the baseboard edge, and I also thought they would get easily damaged, so I moved them, and they still didn't look right. And it wasn't until I in actual fact put a baseboard edge onto the layout that actually suddenly almost made it inevitable where the portals in actual fact had to be placed. And you can see they are actually on the baseboard edge, but as you can see they're actually partially protected by the retaining wall. So if I actually come round on this side, you will actually see that I have put actually, if you like, a wooden valance along the front of the layout. Again, this took quite a bit of planning to do. I wanted to make sure the wooden valance hid the baseboard framing, which it more or less does. At the same time, I didn't want it too low because obviously I have to duck under to get into the middle. And equally, I didn't want the valance to be too high because if I come along here, if I have a sit down beside the track, I wanted still to be able to see the track at track level. I came up with a whole host of ideas for this area, most of which were abandoned, and it wasn't until I put this valance on The valance is made out of 3.5mm ply, and it was built in sections, making a template first of all, cardboard template, and then just tracing that onto the plywood, and then actually cutting it out with a Stanley knife. You can cut 3.5mm ply with a Stanley knife and you get a really straight line. So once that was on, it then became obvious where these portals needed to be. So as you can see, there are a number of portals there. There's no A-frames on them as yet because, I say, end brass are out of stock, they're on order. But once the valance at the side here had been put on, that then allowed me to, if you like, scenic up the edge of the baseboard here, and we'll have a look at that in a bit closer detail next. Okay, so the baseboard edge, it's very narrow, but as you can see, I've managed to squeeze in a small retaining wall, which, as you can also see, it's actually leaning back slightly, as it would do prototypically. It runs all the way down to that new road bridge, or the extended road bridge. Along the top, it's just full of bushes that you'd expect to see in a real railway. The overhead portal, as you can see, is actually built into the hillside, and the other two that have still to be put in, they'll follow a similar pattern. There is a small recess there for some relay boxes, and on this part here, if I come right down, it's a bit wider here, so there is an embankment which has been done with lots and lots of brambles. All the detailing is currently being worked upon. You will actually see, if I come down there, you'll see the cable trunking, which is your normal ratio cable trunking, but then you'll see raised cable trunking, and that is from West Hill Wagon Works, 3D printed, and there are 4 packs to take me right the way along to the end, and it will go back into normal cable trunking at the end, but I have run out of cable trunking. The other thing which I also got from West Hill Wagon Works, which I hopefully will pick up just there, are the, if I come back so you can actually see it, are the TPWS magnets, which are obviously there just before signals. So those are the ones where when the train goes over, if it's green, you'll hear the bell ring in the cab and the driver has to acknowledge it, or if it's red or yellow, it's usually a horn, and if the driver doesn't acknowledge it, the brakes are applied. So these are really good. Again, 3D printed. You get quite a lot of them in one pack, and you'll see I've yellowed the sleeper just before it. If I can stop wobbling the camera about, you'll see the sleepers being painted yellow. That is what you would actually see. I checked out various websites and I found one which actually showed you exactly what the area looks like. The actual pandrol clips at the side will be eventually painted purple, because again, that's what they are. They're not purple on the outside of the rail, but on the inside of the rail, the pandrol clips are actually purple. So I'm currently hunting for Humbrol number 42, which apparently is the right colour to paint those. So I will be putting on those on the approaches to some of the other signals, but they really do look the part. So that sort of brings you up to date with this area here, which I'll just sort of zoom out a little bit. There we go. So although it's only 3 feet, there is a lot of detailing still to be done. I only just finished the, if you like, the wall and the edge and the sort of first scenic detailing earlier this week. And I was going to wait until I almost finished this whole section, but I realised it's obviously almost 2 months since I last did an update, so I thought I'd better just bring you guys and show you what I've actually been doing. And that's basically it. That is the update. So in some respects it doesn't look a lot, but believe you me, there is a lot of work actually has been involved in this, and for me to get it to look right, I'm not going to rush it. I'll take my time, and hopefully this area here will become as good, if not better, than this area here that I modelled a couple of months back. So that should, as I say, give added interest when I'm actually filming the trains coming through this section here, because I'll be coming through a completely scenic section. So with that, what I'll do is I'll get some trains running, because I know a lot of you do like the running sessions. I'll get some trains running, and I hope you enjoy that. And I will catch you all hopefully sooner than 2 months, and hopefully this bit will be totally complete. So many thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all later. Cheers.